20 handicap, fairly new golfer looking for some general information across the board, sent in an iron and a hybrid swing, so happy to look at that and do a quick comparison with a Tour Pro as well. So, quickly, your comments mention that you do fade the ball, slice it with the driver, and have some path issues. Now, in the backswing, it does look like you keep that club on a decent plane to the upright side, but you do stop in a fairly short backswing where you don't get much depth. Your wrist angles, although your grip could be worked on, have the club set in a fine spot at the top, but again, lacking depth and turn. If you could turn your hips or shoulders or both a little bit more to the top, you wouldn't have such a short backswing, and then probably be limited to what you can do in the downswing. So with a short swing where your hands are, again, like up, vertical at the top here, not getting much depth behind you, they'll likely stay more vertical and swing down over the top. Your hips do come in with a little early extension, but I do appreciate the, for you, left shoulder tilt down in the downswing, which tries your best to keep your body from jumping up or early extending in the spine. So I'd say you're on the right track. You had a question if the short backswing was a problem. It's not that it's short, it's positionally where your hands are. If they were here, just a little bit deeper or behind your heels, you wouldn't have as much issue with that path. The wrist angle, we're going to compare against Jon Rahm, and he's able to shallow out that path by bowing the wrist and dropping it from the top, whereas your first move can be a little bit rotational and get that club to come down steeper. So we always, or the majority of time, would prefer to see that club either coming down straight from A to B to the ball or taking a flatter detour more from the inside. So overall, like I said, not bad for a fairly new golfer. The second swing that you sent in was a, I believe, hybrid or 3-wood, which now fits the mold for our chair drill or the bag against the rear drill, where you can try your best to keep from jumping up in the spine. But let's see if there's any similarities or differences in these swings. Setup, not too bad, maybe over the bit of the balls of the toes, a little too much, leaning over slightly, so standing up and back would help. May also help create that depth you're trying to do. Little flex of the knees in, takeaway starts the same, a little bit to the upright, but I, again, appreciate the move. Face angle looks fine. Let's see if you get any deeper with this hybrid than you did with the iron. And yeah, slightly. So more turn of the hips, more turn of the shoulders did bring that club back a bit more. The cuppiness angle of that left wrist might keep it open, even though it looked like it was pretty square to close coming back. Yeah, that angle has been slightly compromised. What was square is now a couple degrees open, and that would either mean that you do hit it with that open face or fade it, and, either hit it with the open face and fade it, or you flip that club face over and play more of a pull or a pull fade. So here's your comp. Jon Rahm, but we can flip him over to the left side and see what you were doing here as well. So short backswing and a flatter position is sort of your goals, and you can see that that plane is drawn perfectly on the take back, starts to get slightly vertical, and he also does not get much depth of the hands behind his heels. However, there's still plenty of hip and shoulder rotation to keep that club moving up or high at the top. The right wrist angle of the modified Jon Rahm swing is very bowed and closed, and believe it or not, that can actually allow the body to feel like you can drop that club more to the inside because the face is already in a square to close position, and you can swing it out to the left. When that face gets a little bit open up at the top, another corrective move with the open face hanging up there is to want to sling it over the top. So having the bow in that wrist may give you the feeling or the ability to feel like you can drop that more from the inside. The second thing with the hip extension is note how long he's keeping planted on the trail foot as that club will pass P5. Club shaft is staying ever so slightly to the inside of the plane line, carries that plane line all the way through, and of course that bowed wrist is going to lead to a square to closed face at that impact position. So of course an excellent move. Jump back over to you. not your righty version, although I think most would find it easier to understand. So here is your instruction. Grip has been changed. Try to get your right hand down in the finger slightly, and the more upright posture should allow that toe of the club to stop lifting up off the ground as it is right there. So a little taller in the posture, slight grip change. That may raise your handle a bit, but then try, once you get past this P2 position, because your club face is already reasonably square, but the grip change and the top position of your wrist angle being a little bit more flat at the very least, or even bowed down like we just saw John Rahm or a Dustin Johnson up at the top of the swing. May give you a better ability to drop that club more to the inside, and it will certainly keep that face more closed to get you to hit that draw that you were looking to do. So good luck with those changes. Sendaswing.com.